Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another Hostinger Horizons live stream. It's so good to see you all here. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in live for today's event. It's really nice to see you all. Say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from, right? Where you're watching in from. It's always great to see what kind of a multi-international crowd we have gathered today. Now, we do have a nice real program ready for you guys today about creating your first MVP in a day, your minimum viable product, to make it easy, to make your idea a reality, right? We have covered similar topics before, but this one I'm sure was going to be very helpful to make sure that you understand exactly how simple and easy just making it run and making it work can be. So we do have a lot of cool things to talk about, right? So before we just dive right into it, I do want to see, I see people coming in from Tunisia, from Philadelphia, from India as well. Awesome. Great to see you guys gathered here today. So without further ado, I think we can just jump right into our main topic, right? If you are not watching this live, no worries. Stick through until the end, right? We do have a lot of great things to cover. But if you are watching live, then sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, and let's jump into it, right? I see even we have people from Sweden and Atlanta. Nice. So real multicultural crowd today. Awesome. So let's get started with it, shall we? So first things first, right? If you don't know me yet, if you don't know who I am, my name is Carlos. I am a Hostinger Horizons expert. Today, I'll be guiding you through today's topic, which is how to build your MVP in a day with the power of Hostinger Horizons. So with the power of Hostinger Horizons, we're going to be doing a lot of things today, but this is going to be our main kind of topic that we're going to be going through. And as I'm sure you guys know, we're going to be taking a look at our agenda. So, of course, we're going to be talking about exactly what Hostinger Horizons is, all of the new updates that we have launched and are currently launching and will be launching in the future, as well as Built with Horizons, building that MVP, and of course a Q&A at the end. But no worries, we'll also tackle some questions in between some of the steps that we're going to be doing. And of course, as always, we do have a little lottery for you guys. But before that, I do want to mention what exactly Hostinger Horizons is, so you know what you're going in for, right? So Hostinger Horizons is your AI agent that helps you and creates a fully functioning web application, website, without you needing to know any coding, any design, practically nothing. All you have is your idea, put it into a sentence, put it into multiple sentences, right? Refine it, define it however you want. Hostinger Horizons handles the rest, and it creates a fully functioning website that you can also adjust, alter, right, and calibrate as much as you want in the future. So it's great for you, for those of you that actually want to build something without having a high investment, right, or hiring a dedicated website developer, right, or a team of developers to make that for you. You can even handle some even complex functionalities like calendars or booking appointments or administration, dashboards and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things it can do, and the potential is practically limitless, since artificial intelligence these days is super, super smart. Of course, it also offers you a full place to publish your website, to make it available online with all the bips and bops that you need, which includes things like a domain, email, a professional email address, right, so that you can contact your clients, your users very easily. It also provides protection and security, right? Everything is included in our all-in-one packages that start off from just $9.99 per month, right, depending on what kind of package you want. And you use the messages that you're given, right, per month or per year if you go for a yearly plan. And that way you have, a fully set place for yourself to just jump in and start making what you want to make. And it also supports multiple languages. So even if you are from a different country, right, as I saw multiple people from places like South Africa and Zimbabwe as well, right? So if you are from a very distant country or a country that has its own specific language, right, that is not English, then you are surely free to use that language when communicating with Hostinger Horizons, right? In any case, it can also help you out, answer your questions. It is an assistant overall, right? And of course, for those of you that are not big fans of dragging and dropping your own elements into your website, right, and checking out things like margins and making sure that your elements are all lined up and things like that, then no worry. because that's what Hosting Horizons does. It takes care of that for you. So no more moving elements around willy-nilly, right, until you finally find that perfect spot. Hosting Horizons adjusts it for you, and you can also ask it to do those adjustments additionally if needed. Now, we can move on over to our little lottery. If you are interested in testing Hosting Horizons, I do recommend to give it a shot by scanning the QR code that you see on the screen, because at the end of this live stream, in about, I'd say like 40 minutes or so, we'll be picking 5 lucky winners that are going to be walking away today with 20 free messages to start out, right? So you're going to have a little bit of, a head start against everybody else, right? So winning 20 messages is going to be a great way for you guys to get started. So all you have to do is scan the QR code that you see on the screen. It will take you to a very short survey that is just 5 very simple questions. And this will help us also improve Hosting Horizons in the future for all other users and, of course, yourself. One, of course, thing that I do want to mention once more, if you are not watching this live, then likely the contest is already over, but no worries, we have more lotteries in the future. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more live events happening on your feed. Right, after this, of course, we do want to talk about the newest updates to Hosting Horizons. So we do have quite a few, actually. In this case, we have launched analytics that are available right now for all Hosting Horizons sites, and something that we are launching as we speak. It's the ability to copy your Hosting Horizons projects and kind of show them off as a template. In the future as well, we're going to be improving your messages with one click, so you can click one button and it will improve your prompt to make sure that Hosting Horizons can understand it as much as possible. All of these things will be covered in the next few weeks, right, when we meet again. Now, speaking about those updates, the first one that I mentioned, right, so the ability to copy your project, now it's available if you do use Hosting Horizons already. In the top left menu, you'll be able to turn on this functionality of copying your website, and it will have a simple banner appear on the website itself after it's published, where users can click on it and copy that template and use the exact same structure that you are using to start creating their own website. So if you want to, let's say, sell, different templates of websites, you can easily do that by using this feature. And if somebody purchases a Hosting Horizons subscription by using your particular template, then you're also going to get some rewards in store as well. So all of this is going to be available to everyone by the end of the week. Some of you may already have this available as a testing group, but we are going to be improving the features, so on and so forth, since there are things to cover in the future as well. And of course, the analytics that I mentioned, you have the ability to check the analytics for your website now. So you can check out the last 24 hours, 7 or 30 days, and see exactly how your traffic is going, what countries is it mainly originating from, and all of those different details. Very simple to use. You can find all of that info as well in your Hosting Horizons dashboard. Now, we also have Built with Hosting Horizons. Those of you that are not familiar with this, we had recently launched this new program where you can submit your own project for a chance to win 100 free messages. Yeah, you heard that right, 100 free messages for submitting your project. How it works is that inside of the page, which is noted on your screens right now, hostinger.com/horizons/built, if you submit your project, it will appear alongside other people's projects, and there people are able to vote for their most liked project. So if you create something really cool and unique, people will vote for it, and then you have the chance of becoming one of the top 3 winners. All top 3 get 100 free messages, and this resets every week on Monday. So you can start creating right now, and by the end of Sunday, you might have enough votes to actually become a top winner. So give it a shot, try it out, guys. All you need to do to submit your project is to make sure that your website is published, right? So there's not really any high requirements. And of course, we're really interested to see what kind of projects you guys create. I think I saw one last week, which was very interesting. It was a site about useless features. You just click a button and it says, oh, this button is completely useless. It doesn't do anything, but it just, gives you information. Like you have 10 useless clicks or something like that. You can even rotate the screen and generate random letters, random numbers, right? It was a completely, literally useless website, but people enjoy that kind of stuff. It was a little bit thought-provoking of what is a website these days? If it's useless, is it actually useful for something, for entertainment purposes or what? So I think you guys can also think of some very kooky and interesting ideas. So give it a shot for yourselves, right? And go ahead and submit your own projects that you can create with Hostinger Horizons on the link that you see on the screen, or you can also find it on our Hostinger Horizons page if you want to. Moving on forward, I'm going to give you a quick reminder about the Hostinger Horizons lottery, right? So scan the QR code that you see on the screen. You'll be given 5 very simple questions to answer, and we'll be picking 5 lucky winners at the end of today's live stream that will be getting 20 free messages. So 20 free messages to go, right? You'll be able to use them to create your own project, maybe even submit that project for our program Built with Horizons, and any other kind of projects that you may have in mind. Maybe start creating those templates and start selling those online if you want to. So multiple ways you guys can go about it, right? In any case, make sure to do that, right? In any case, if you want the QR code back, then you can always scroll back a little bit in the video, right? And yeah, we can also jump into our main topic of today, which is building that minimum viable product in a day. So I saw you guys did have some questions already. I see there's one by Steve Berger who asks, hey guys, when Amazon Associate and Printful on Horizons? Actually, that's a very good question. We did have Printful already included with our Hostinger website builder sites. So it is a, let's say, a partnership that we were really looking forward to, and it's already there. For Amazon Associates, I can't say for sure, right? But that's a very great question. Inside of our integrations tab in Hostinger Horizons, you can even add your own integrations that you want to see in the future. And for the most voted ones, of course, we will consider adding them as fast as we can so that you guys have those integrations ready and easy to use. Hope that answers your question there, Steve. And I see there is another question by Coder JT, who says, can I resubmit a project after making updates for Built with Horizons? While you can resubmit the project, I would recommend to go with a different one, right? If somebody sees the same project 2 weeks in a row, and I can't guarantee that you're going to be getting that upvote, right? While creating new projects, creating new cool different ideas is going to, stimulate those that dopamine receptor inside of people's brains. So I think that's going to be more interesting to see. Let's see another question there by Miguel, who asks, does Horizons build front, backend, and help with the database? Yes, it sure does. So you don't have to worry about anything. It works on the front end. You can also edit the front end and edit the content that you see. So things like pictures and text, right? The backend is totally taken care of. You can also edit the code if you want to. And the database is already integrated with Supabase. So all you have to do is just register an account with Supabase, and it's already fully connected. So it's just one click away from making sure that your website has a database where all of your information is stored. I see there's also a question by Karim who asks, can we use existing Firebase database with Horizons? While yes, you can integrate other databases, it is best to cover this with Horizons itself, saying that, hey, I have a Firebase database that I want to connect. How do I do that? And then Horizons will guide you through the process, making sure that you know exactly what steps to follow. This is one thing that I really do recommend everybody does, right, is to read the instructions that Hostinger Horizons provides for you, much like you should from any developer, right, that gives you advice or information to follow, right? In any case, you can also ask it to explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old, right, to make those steps even easier to follow. But yeah, without further ado, let's move into our main topic of today of building that MVP in a day. So, what is an MVP, right? I think that's one question that some of you might be asking yourselves, right? And generally it's known as a minimum viable product, or in any other case, it's generally where your idea starts from. It's kind of like a smaller than a startup, right? Where you just have a simple idea, you want to make it happen as fast as possible, and you don't want to worry about things like perfection or any small details. You just want to get into that feedback loop and start, understanding your audience, what they need, is this what they need, and more other things. it's also a very first simple idea, simple version of your idea, right? So you can also call it like that if you want to, instead of an MVP, right? How exactly it looks and works like. Those are really details, right? But as long as the idea is there and what you want to present for your audience is clear, then you are going to be golden, right? Of course, it's also important to make sure that you are solving some kind of problem for your audience, right? If you pick too broad of an audience, if you say, well, my product is, going to work for everybody, right? But obviously there's going to be a lot of competition in that case. You want to pick maybe a smaller niche. So if you're going to be selling clothes, maybe you want to sell clothes to a specific niche. Maybe I don't know, like it could be very specific men, right, that can't find clothes for themselves on a specific size, right? Or it could be something else, right? Maybe it's for specifically children, right? Things like that, to nail down that niche and then get into it, right? You're going to be solving that one problem that you see in your, local area, or that you see where you can easily solve it yourself. Also, it's a very quick way to build that idea, right? You want to learn exactly what you can improve and get that feedback directly from real users. And that can be anybody, right? That can be your aunt, it can be your cousin, your colleague, your best friend, your grandma, anybody. So as long as that audience, fits them, then, you can get some real feedback and start implementing changes and adding more and making it even better than it was before. And of course, it has to be good enough to start off and get the general gist of what you want to create, as well as gather that feedback and iterate more on top of it as you go along. Now, next, what is that 1-day plan, right? So this one is very approximate, right? These hours that are listed here are not, how should I say? They're not concrete at all. They can vary from person to person, right? Some may take longer, some may take shorter, right? Maybe you already have an idea, maybe you already have some kind of implementation here, so you might even skip a couple of these steps, but I just wrote them down to make sure that you have an idea of what it could look like, right? So first one being defining the problem and exactly who it helps. Now, I'll have my own MVP that I'm going to be setting up for you guys live during today's live stream, so you're going to be able to see exactly how that works. For the second part, we're going to start prompting, right, with Hostinger Horizons and outlining those 3-4 screens that are most important for us, right, for our users to see so that we make that great first impression. Of course, we want to build a key flow. So exactly how your users will interact with your website or your web application once they get in there, right? Is there anything to interact with? Maybe you can add some interactive elements to make it more fun, make it more interesting, right? Make it more appealing for that particular audience. Or maybe even make it less appealing, right? If your specific audience doesn't require much, maybe they're really minimalistic people, right? So it really depends on the audience that you choose. Now, fourth is very important. It's the feedback loop, right? You want to make sure that you're getting some kind of feedback directly from your audience, whether you're going to be marketing to them directly in your own town, your city, right? Through, I don't know, like a paper billboard, right? Something like that. Or you're going to be doing it online. You want to make sure that you are getting their attention, right? By, targeting a concrete audience and then making sure that you are getting their feedback. The feedback that'll help you grow and understand exactly what you can improve and then iterate on top of that. And of course, to publish the copy and publish the website, right? So making sure that you have a strong and very dedicated wording for your audience. Of course, if it's going to be catered towards a certain audience, you want to make sure that they understand the language that you're speaking. If it's a very techie audience, it could be like programmers or something like that. You want to put in some big words in there, right, to make sure that they understand that. But if it's a very simple audience, like, I don't know, it could be even like children, right, or something like that, then you want to make sure you're using simple, concrete language to get to the point as fast as possible, right? Especially if, let's say, either the generation or the type of people you are targeting have a shorter or a longer attention span, right? I think it's scientifically proven these days, so you want to make sure you adjust for that. So do a little bit of research. Even using something like ChatGPT to get your audience more concretely is also a very great way to go about it, right? Now, if we talk about Hostinger Horizons itself, now what kind of power does it bring in this kind of case, right? So what it allows you to do is to create that website, right? That, interactive website for your audience without having any experience in terms of coding, right? You have the ability to edit your content, and you have the ability to edit the code even. So if you even do have any experience, right, you can edit and make changes in there. And if Horizons does prompt you to, right, maybe make some suggestions, maybe you need to integrate some kind of more complex features from third parties, you can also easily do that in there. So Hostinger Horizons offers you kind of multiple ways to go about this situation, even if you're a starter, if you're, a mid-level person in terms of tech stuff, or even if you are a professional. It also does have those ready-to-use integrations for quick setup, so a database and an e-commerce module that you can easily integrate with just a few simple clicks, and more integrations, more modules coming in later on, right? If you do have any of them that you are interested in, you can always let us know. We'll always take feedback and make sure that it's applied whenever possible. Or do you see some people asking about other kinds of APIs or integrations that are possible? So for something like creating like a chat window, yes, of course, you can easily do that. For specific APIs, it is best to ask Horizons itself if it can integrate that. If it can't, then of course it will let you know how to do that, where to put in the API keys and things like that. Oh, that's right, Scott. Yeah. I'll stop saying that word so you can focus a little bit more. Left, or maybe I should just say left in that case. Okay, next up, we want to talk about forms. So signups and leads and feedback, you want to gather your information or contact details from your audience. And what better way to do that than with a form of some kind inside of your website or web application? So doing that is always a great way to, just jump in there and grab that person, let them know that, hey, I saw you were interested in this, whether it be a newsletter of some kind of other, interesting material that you want to provide for them. It's really important that you have that available for the user. So if they are interested, they can contact you in some kind of way. Of course, with Hostinger Horizons, you do have built-in hosting and SSL, so you don't have to worry about any kind of, shenanigans or headaches for the setup. Everything is already there, added for you, right? You can even get your own domain in there, right? Oh, and I keep saying it. I see it's kind of a tick that I have at the moment. But yeah, so you don't have to worry about any of those setup headaches. All of that is already taken care of with Hostinger Horizons as long as you have a subscription. And we do provide a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you are interested in just testing it out, seeing if it fits what you're looking for, then surely give it a shot. I'm sure you guys won't regret it. Last but not least, easy way to publish your website with one simple click and then make updates with the same method of prompting directly to Hostinger Horizons, or if you want to make updates to specific text elements or images, you can also easily do that inside of the content editor. And even if you are a very advanced user and you have programming knowledge, then you can easily edit the code as well. Right. Moving on forward, we do want to give a little bit of a checklist for your MVP, right? So what you would have to do in order to get started. So what I wrote down right here, it's a few simple tips. First one being just writing down the problem statement in one sentence. So it could be anything. For example, the children around my area, around my city or in my town are having trouble finding fashionable clothes, right? And for example, you create very fashionable clothes, right? Or you have some kind of ability to do so. Or maybe you have any kind of sewing, experience. Of course, I'm taking a very simple example in this case, but you can always think of it more like maybe you have a very nice, way of baking treats or sweets, right? You could also use that and cater to your specific audience that has trouble finding, a really nice place to eat or having a good drink. For example, a coffee, some kind of other beverage, maybe tea in that case. Multiple ways that you can go about it, but I would just recommend to write it out in one simple sentence to make sure that it's as clear and concise as possible. If you see that it's a very long sentence, then shorten it up, make it as small as possible so that you have a very concrete idea in your mind. And if somebody asks you what exactly is your problem statement, then you can remember it on top of your head. Moving on forward, you get to verify your problem, right, with other AI tools. The internet is such a big place these days. There's so many tools around the world that you can use for research, for creativity, for creating in general, right? So in this case, you could use a tool like ChatGPT to verify your findings and ask it, hey, what do you think? Is this problem that I want to solve in this location or in this space or for this particular audience suitable, right? Is it something that is sustainable? You have multiple different questions that you can go through this way. So verifying that with AI tools around the globe, whether you use ChatGPT, whether you use Gemini, Claude, anything in general, it's a great way to get started to make sure you are on the right track. Then you build that user journey, right? So you built it from start to finish exactly with Horizons in this case, right? What we're going to be doing. So you want to make sure that you have a very simple and clear idea of where they're going to be starting and where you want them to finish. What is the finish line in your website? What you want your audience to achieve by going through your content? Is it to, tickle their curiosity, for example? Is it to get their attention? Is it to make them think about something? You have multiple ways to go about it. Just, put it down and make sure that the journey is very straightforward and clear. Of course, what we talked about before, adding that feedback loop is very important. So I'm not going to go much too on about that, right? And of course, last but not least, it's to publish and share your project with someone who fits your audience. It could also be someone who has experience in a similar field. Maybe there's some kind of business owner, or they have some experience in a similar field where you are currently operating. It's great to collect those insights and apply them in your own work as you go along. And yeah, I know. I keep using the word right, but it's just that I can't go left in this case. I'm going to leave. I will be left when this live stream is over. Now, let's try it out, shall we? So let's jump right in and let's create our own MVP with the power of Hostinger Horizons. So let me move on over to this screen right here. And let's start off with a very simple idea. Now, for my own MVP, it is a very niche subject, I'd say, but I think it's something that could be actually pretty interesting. So I've noticed in my local, parks and by taking a look at my friends, family members, all the people around me, even my colleagues, multiple people have pets, right? And people love their pets. They love taking photos of them. But one thing that isn't as popular, at least in my current area, is accessories for these pets. So you can accessorize your pets with multiple different kinds of little costumes or, like a little bell or something like that. So there are multiple ways to accessorize your pets and make them look even more cuter, even more friendly. So I would, create accessories for pets in my local area, and people could, get those accessories online, purchase them online. I'd send out those orders, and they'd be able to take some really cute Instagram pictures for their pets. Maybe even, make a collaboration with some influencer who has their own pet to make sure that, my brand is becoming more and more popular. So I'm going to be writing down that problem statement. In this case, I'm going to be saying something like, people in my area have a lot of pets, but those pets aren't accessorized. I think that's how you write it down. So I want to create a website where I can sell accessories for different pets to make them look even cuter, right? Simple as that. It's a little bit drawn out, but of course we could, make it a little bit smaller, this entire sentence, but I think it's important that we have the idea in there. So I'm going to click enter, and Hostinger Horizons is going to handle it for me. It's going to start building that website. I'm going to be able to see that happen in real time. And let me actually make the screen a little bit smaller for you guys so you can see a little bit more clearly here. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to be tackling your questions. So if you have any kind of questions, I can tackle them while Hostinger Horizons is working in the background. We can already see what kind of steps it's going to be taking into. And I said we do have quite a lot of questions in here. I see there's a question about Printful, right? And making a step-by-step video on Printful. So I do have some really great news for you, Steve, that we are working on a dedicated video for Printful and how to use it step by step. So hopefully that is going to be up on our Hostinger Academy channel very soon. I do recommend to subscribe or check back in the channel in a few days or a week or so, and you'll have more details on how that works. I see somebody also asked about why not create a full stack tutorial covering all core features like those in social media or matrimonial platforms, which would be far more helpful for learners. Well, yes, of course, you could go the route of going through a full stack tutorial, of teaching somebody to create the back end, the front end, all of those different things. If I understood you correctly, that you would like a full-on tutorial, but that would be more of a course rather than a tutorial in its length, because you never know, what is the experience level of the person behind the screen. In this particular case, what we want to show is that anybody can do this. So even if you are 5, 50, or 500 years old, right, you can jump in, write down what you want, and see that become a reality through Hostinger Horizons. I see you had another question by AI Impact News, who says, can we connect in real time synchronization between platforms like real-time synchronization between platforms like VAPI and GHL using MCP servers? Now, that's actually a very good question. In terms of these particular platforms like VAPI and GHL, I can't say for certain as of this moment. What I would recommend is to either ask Hostinger Horizons itself or take a look at the documentation of those particular platforms and what are their main requirements. If our systems meet those requirements, then for sure you should be able to do that. And by just answering a few questions, we already have our website made. So let's take a little Rust test run right through it, shall we? So it called it paw style. And of course, we want to make those pets adorable. We even have different categories, right? So dogs, cats, birds, and rabbits. And it added some very simple, very basic products for us right here. Of course, we want to add the pictures ourselves, which we could do very easily, but it's a one-stop shop and it has pretty much everything that we need, right? If I were to click on a specific category of pet, I could also probably go into filter mode, right? And go into a specific type of pet and check their accessories only. But of course, some of them may be universal as well. So we have the site pretty much made right here, but what we want to actually do in this case is to add an e-commerce store, right? Because we want to sell those products. We want to actually have them uploaded and sell them online. So let's go into our integrations tab on the right side right here, where we can find the ability to add a database, the ability to add an online store, and also check out our analytics, as well as the guide for how to connect Stripe directly. Now, Stripe is integrated with our online store, but if you want to integrate it separately, right, then you do have the chance to easily do that, and also share your own request for the integrations that you want to see on Hostinger Horizons. In this case, I'm going to ask it to connect an online store. By just clicking the button right here, it's going to start the process and it's going to enter and add an online store directly to my website. While that's going, I'll take a look at your questions again. Correct instead of right in this case. Let's take a look. I saw that some people are having issues with getting stuck while using Hostinger Horizons. So I do recommend to join our Hostinger Horizons Discord channel, where you can find a lot of similar-minded creators, and we do have our own community champions and our own Hostinger Horizons developers in there, so they can help you out if you are stuck in a pickle. They can also assist you with any kind of issues you are experiencing with Hostinger Horizons. So any feedback you have for us in that case, I really do recommend to jump into our Discord server. It's a great way to keep in touch with our community. And let me take a look. Somebody asked, can we have Cody as an assistant in Horizons? While Cody is becoming enabled for pretty much almost everybody in this case, it is still not available to be integrated inside of your own website as of this moment. You can ask Cody multiple different kinds of questions inside of the Hostinger Horizons dashboard, but on the website itself, it's not currently available as of this moment. I see there's a question by Franco who asks, is Hostinger Horizons an N8N vibe coding creation? No, actually, but you can connect N8N directly with Hostinger Horizons. So if you are interested in making multiple different automations and having them run in the background on your own site, whether it be aggregating information that is being inputted inside of your website, like votes or form replies or emails or something like that, you can easily do that with N8N, and we do offer VPS services that have N8N integrated inside of it. So you do have the option of running into that and using it. All right, we can see that it was able to add the online store. Let's take a quick look on how it did. We can see that it even added a few testimonials. If I click the Shop Now button, it's going to take me to the product section. In this case, it adds very basic, very simple products for us to start with, but it's enough in this particular case. If we want to go a little bit deeper in here, we can easily go to the integrations window at the top right, go back to the online store, and go directly to the store manager, where we'll be able to make adjustments to the store itself. So in this case, I'm going to call it Paw Style, right? And we're going to name that online store. There we go. Starting off with a quick little setup. So you see this little circle that you can fill out. It's a very simple way to make sure that you are keeping up with the progress of your online store. Your first job would be to add your first product, of course. So you want to add a product, whether that be a physical product, whether that be a digital product, a service, right, or anything else. You have the ability to easily do that. And if I were to add a physical product, we can easily upload different images or upload images and have their details be generated with the help of AI. There, you can also create your own title, subtitle, even add a ribbon that would appear on the store. Description, of course, where you can add multiple different types of information. And of course, the most important parts like the pricing. I'll resize that a little bit to make sure it's a little bit in line. But yeah, you can add the price, even a discount, add additional info sections and options, which are really great ways to differentiate your products. If you have something like a special necklace for cats that you want to sell in this case, then I want to make sure that I have different sizes available, different colors, maybe different materials, right? All of those things, you want to make sure you have them available. And with the options section, it's super easy and simple to do. But yeah, setting up your first product, super easy, doesn't really require much. Anybody can do it. Now, if we were to take a look at the other steps, you would want to set up a payment method. Now, I'm currently based in Lithuania, so I do have certain payment methods available for me at the moment. But if you are based in a different country, you can also have different payment methods available for yourself. In my particular case, I would generally recommend to use something like Stripe because it's pretty much global these days. You can also add PayPal, right? And if I wanted to, I could also add a cash payment if I'm going to be making those deliveries myself to their door, or maybe to, I don't know, some kind of postal service as well. So that is also a very simple way to go about it, right? For PayPal and Stripe, all you have to do is create an account. Maybe you already have an account. That'll make things even easier for you. Next up, we do have updating our company information. So with adding things like our own logo, our name for the store, things that will show up inside of the invoice, right? Then we have our shipping options. So if you are going to be shipping anything outside of your own area, then you want to make sure those shipping options are available by setting up a shipping zone and adding different various options for it. This can also actually add conditions. So you can add the shipping conditions, so a different price depending on the price of the order itself that your client makes, or even the weight of the order. So you want to make sure that if you're going to be selling lots of accessories, right, you want to make sure that the shipping is equal to that amount. Also, super simple to set up, super easy to do. You guys can try it out for yourselves. I really do recommend it. There are other things that we can take a look at right here, like the orders. So what orders are coming through to our website, to our e-commerce store. We can also take a look at things like discounts, where we can add and generate discounts for specific, let's say, holidays. For example, Halloween is coming up. So if I have some kind of Halloween costumes for pets, it would be a great way to add a special discount coupon code that I could also share with specific users, specific people, and my audience. Now, one last thing that we always want to do is make sure that we have a feedback loop. So I'm going to ask Horizons to create a form where we can review that feedback loop and get feedback directly from our users. And that's what I'm going to ask it to do. Hey, Horizons, please add a feedback form where users could leave feedback about the service and the website. Easy as that. It's going to jump into work and it should be done in just a few short moments. In the meantime, let's take a quick look at your guys' questions. Let's see. Yeah, I can see somebody already answered the question of connecting the Hosting Horizons and N8N, which is perfect, right? I see somebody already paid to host their website with Hostinger. You can always try Hostinger Horizons for free. All you have to do is just give it a shot inside of your own Hostinger account. You do get some prompts to use for free. If you want to actually get some more prompts, you can take a look at our lottery that I presented before, scan the QR code, and take a look at those simple questions that we have. Help us with some feedback of your own. We can also do the database connection, of course, if we want to. I see somebody also had a question about that. Let's take a look at anything else you have added here. Of course, yeah, I see some people haven't received their credits for the Horizons challenge that we did previously. So I will look into that as well, making sure that it's added, because I did hear about this as well. No worries. And okay, let me make sure. I see a question by Steve saying that directly launching to Play Store and App Store would be awesome. Yes, Steve, it would be very awesome, but doing that is actually very, very complex. There are a lot of hurdles to go through, and it would require a lot of work from your side as well, since it's not as easy to launch an app these days as it could have been before. And just launching your your mobile application as it is, instead of launching it through a dedicated platform, right, it can be very dangerous. So to add it to the Play Store and the App Store, it does take a lot of effort, and it does take a lot of patience as well. We're going to be looking into this as we go along with Hostinger Horizons. Maybe there is something that we can do to make that a reality. But of course, for now, it is not available as of this moment. Let's take a look at what kind of form it generated for us right here. So we have different pages now. We have the home page, the store page, and the feedback page. So in here, clients can leave their name, email address, and even rate their experience with our website, and even add a short message, right? So we can even see that feedback could be stored inside of our database if we wanted to. So pretty easy to do. And if I wanted to make adjustments right here, I could go to the edit content option at the top and edit some of the content, like the name, for example. I could change that to full name. There we go. Changes are done. From email to email address. And to the message, we could add something like your feedback for Paw Style with a little smiley face, right? Save that. And we have also edited our form. Easy as that, right? I also mentioned that we can jump into the code if we wanted to. Here we'll be able to see all of the files that were generated. So if you want to jump in and do some changes of your own, you are fully free to do so. In any case, we can also edit the content directly from here. Or if you want specific integrations, that is also an option from that area. But yeah, we have made our very simple first MVP. Of course, I'm not going to be going through every single small thing. We don't want it to be absolutely perfect, but I think we do have something that we can already work on top of. So we can start adding our products. We can start, adjusting the copy of the website, the text, to make sure that it fits our target audience and it grabs their attention as much as possible. And then, of course, start sharing it with our friends, family members after we click the publish button. And I can also showcase the functionality of being able to copy your website. So exactly how that will work as well. So give it just a few short moments. I can see that it's published successfully. At the top left right here, I can click this option where it says, let others copy your project and get messages. So it'll provide us with some simple information of how that works. I'll allow that copying. It'll publish the website one more time. And when I open it up, we'll be able to see exactly what it looks like with the copying option available. I'm going to go visit that site. I'm going to share this tab right here. So this is the website that is fully available right now. If you do want to visit it, you can easily do that. I'll add a link for you guys in the chat if you want to do that. If you want to share your feedback, that is also fully accepted. But if I click this copy and edit button at the bottom, now you can click that button and have the same website available for yourself and start prompting and start editing it how you want. You can edit the content, you can edit the style, you can ask Horizons to make changes to some of the aesthetic options as well. There are multiple ways to go about this kind of integration. Of course, one thing to note is that the store is not going to be copied over as of this moment, since we're still working on that integration and making sure that it's all set up. But in the very near future, it's going to be available, so don't worry about that. And that's pretty much it in terms of the first MVP. So now we're going to do a quick Q&A. So let's take a look at what kind of questions you guys also have. Let's see. Great. I can see there's a question by Meditate Your Life asking, can you add the dashboard for your user and perform CURD operations? Yes, you actually can. So the user will have their own little dashboard to work with. You can even add a login option for your users so they can log in, manage their own orders, set adjustments, set their own profile details, maybe even create a forum of some kind to have your users talk with each other, talk about these accessories, and maybe even share their pictures of their happy pets, right? Let's take a look. That's a very good question by Karim, who asks, is there a difference about the first prompt where I see some videos show a long prompt, but after that, some people say it needs to be short and specific? Now, it really depends on what you're going for. For your first prompt, it is really important that you do give as much detail as possible, while not going a little bit too overboard. So if you keep saying exactly what kind of text has to be in which page, right? These are things that you can easily add and adjust using the content editor. Whereas for the first prompt, you want to make sure that Horizons nails down the style, the feeling of your website rather than very small, minute details. Then you can also add functionality on top, right? And make your subsequent prompts either short and concise, but it really does depend upon your own style, how you want to make those edits. Do you want them all to go in one go? Maybe do you want to focus on specific ones at the start? I would say your first prompt should be quite important. It should generally give a vibe of what your website should look like. But after that, you can go in towards functionalities, styling, aesthetic, right? Specific features you want on the website, and many, many more. I can see there some people said, yes, we made a very simple website, but it does the job. It does create something simple. Our time is limited today, so I can't go super deep into it. But if you do want to see, a fully fledged website, you can create it yourself if you want to, using Hostingr Horizons, right? You can do more and create more. I'm only showing a very simple example, but there are many other ways you guys can go about this. Let's take a look. Somebody said, can we export the e-commerce shop? Now, in this case, not exactly. While you can import products into your e-commerce shop, exporting them is not an option as of this moment. But if you want this to be an option in the future, then let us know, give us your feedback, and we'll certainly consider it for the future. And somebody asked, can we download the code? Yes, you sure can. You can export your code directly from the website, and then you can either integrate it into another website or host it on any other provider that allows you to do that. Let's take a look. I see there's a question by Karen who asks, is my site or app always accessible through the build so that perhaps I can go in and make small changes without using credits? So as soon as you publish the website, it is going to be fully available. You can make small adjustments and not publish your website while you're doing them and then publish those changes later, right? Everything is automatically saved, so no need to worry about that. So you can go in to make very small changes with the content editor, like changes to the photos or changes to the text. But if there are more, let's say, overarching features that you want to change, like the fonts, the style that will be applicable to the entire website, in that case, I would recommend to use a direct prompt for that. But you can shoot down 2 birds with 1 stone, maybe even 3, maybe even 4. Just let Horizons know what you're going for, and I'm sure it will understand. I like this comment by Franco, who says, Horizons the new Shopify on steroids. It sure is, pal. It sure is. All right. I see we don't have any new questions as of this particular moment, so let's take a look at our lottery as well. Before that, I'm going to ask you guys to join our Discord server while I'm exporting that information and making sure that I see all of your replies. We'll see how many people we have today. Oh, I can see quite a lot, which is great. So let me download your answers right here, making sure that I have all of that. We'll also be spinning the wheel and seeing what kind of lucky people will be getting those 20 free messages today. So give me just a moment while I take care of that. I'll import this right here. You guys can grab a drink while you're at it. Won't take more than a minute. I'll also take a little sip, feeling dehydrated actually. Okay, great. I can see you're all here. I don't think we have any duplicates. Just in case, I'm gonna clean this row up, just to be sure. Removing those. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, seems good. And let's move them on over right here. Okay, there we go. So here's our lottery. Just like always, you guys should be able to see it in just a moment. There we go. And we'll see who wins 20 free messages. We're going to be picking 5 winners. So cross your fingers and hope that you win. Let's spin the wheel for our first winner of today. And it's going to be Benjamin. Congratulations, Benjamin. You won 20 free messages courtesy of Hostinger for your Hostinger Horizon subscription. Let's move on over to our second winner of today. It's going to be Tanya. Congratulations, Tanya. You won 20 free Hostinger Horizons messages. Let's see. Third time's the charm, as they say, right? Right? Let's move on forward. And our third winner is Miguel, just by a hair. Congratulations, Miguel. You're going to be getting 20 free messages courtesy of Hostinger. Our fourth winner, so a 4-leaf clover might be lucky. Okay, we have Jose. Jose in this case. Congratulations, Jose. You get 20 free Hostinger Horizons messages. And our last winner, it's going to be Karen. Congratulations, Karen. I saw you were in the chat as well. So congratulations to those of you that won your free messages today. They will be added to your accounts within the next few days. So congratulations one more time. If you guys want to keep the conversation going, I really do recommend to jump into our Discord server. We have a lot of wonderful people in there that will help answer your questions. They'll help you out with any kind of details. Maybe if you have trouble using Hostinger Horizons or need some help or need some guidance, we have a lot of people that have been going through either similar cases or people that really want to help out, like our community champions that are representatives of you yourself. But yeah, thank you guys for joining in our live event today. It was a pleasure to see you. It was a pleasure to help you out. I really hope our topic of today for building that MVP was interesting and helpful for you. Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to our Hostinger Academy channel if you want to see more live videos like this, these live streams. We also have new videos coming out for all various different types of integrations and new features coming to Hostinger. So make sure you're up to date to all of those things that are happening. Any other questions you may have, let's move on to our Discord, and I'll thank you guys one more time and see you later in our next Hostinger Horizons event. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Got a $1 billion web app idea? Now you can turn it into reality with Hostinger Horizons. To start, just tell Horizons what you want to create and instantly receive the first version. Preview your project and make edits as you go by chatting with the AI. With one click, publish your creation and share it with the world. Connect your own domain straight from within the interface. No coding, no extra setup. With Hostinger Horizons, you get effortless web app creation, hosting, email, and more. Go to hostinger.com and turn your ideas into reality.